Real Madrid 3, Liverpool 1, Man City 2, Borussia Dortmund 1. What an exhilarating night of Champions League football we have just witnessed. So much to unpack, so many talking points, wonderful football, criminal defending, dodgy refereeing decisions aplenty. It's going to be a barnstorming evening here on the Football Terrace. We have Liverpool fans, City fans, and neutrals aplenty. The phone lines will be open for you to have your say as well, but smash the living daylights out of that like button right now, people. But by George, what a night. And where do we start? We have to start. I want to start with, actually, we're going to go into Liverpool in a minute. Liverpool tonight, by the way, sliced and diced. Vinicius Jr., Asensio, Kroos and Modric in the middle. Absolutely brilliant. 3-1 victors, as we know. 1.5 feet in the door to the semi-finals for Real Madrid. Liverpool looking down the barrel at their season. It looks like their season is all but over. The Manchester City game, though, majority of the ball, the majority of the chances fell to the citizens. Worthy winners in terms of statistical play, yes. But Borussia Dortmund tonight were robbed of one of the most blatant goals I've ever seen. And the refereeing decision isn't what was controversial about tonight. The VAR protocol states that in goal-scoring moments, whether a referee or a linesman thinks there's a foul, a handball, an offside, the protocol is to allow play to continue, for the ball to cross the line, then for the whistle to be blown, so VAR can intervene. Jude Bellingham scored one of the most legal goals you will see in the Champions League ever, and it was ruled out. It doesn't mean that Borussia Dortmund would have gone on to win the game. Nobody can quite tell, but it was an atrocious decision by the officials tonight. So I want your views and opinions on that. But the Dortmund-Man City game is still very much in the balance because Dortmund were there or thereabouts. Very happy for Phil Foden in the dire moments to go and pick up the win because he was absolutely excellent. Excellent when he came onto the field of play. There is no doubt about that whatsoever. But Liverpool, we need to talk about your defending tonight. We need to talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold. Everything Gary Neville said about him last night on Monday Night Football was bang on. He was poor all day. Nowhere near Vinicius. Nowhere near Mendy down that side. Partly at stake for the first goal. Him and Nate Phillips asleep from a simple long ball over the top. It was terrible. And then the second goal, I mean, he got the assist, I suppose. You can claim an assist for that goal. It was just absolutely calamitous that allowed it to happen. Baby Keita dragged off the field of play after 41 minutes after another shambolic Liverpool performance. And things got slightly better when Thiago come in. But if we're being honest, Liverpool were just absolutely outplayed, really, from pillar to post in that game. It took them until the 52nd minute when they actually scored, to be fair, to even register a shot on goal. What an uphill task they're going to have next week at Anfield. And well, look, we've seen great things at Anfield before, but maybe, just maybe, this is one step too far. What are your thoughts and feelings? Hopefully LFC Sonny is going to be on later because he said he jumped for joy when they got Real Madrid in the Champions League. He said that even with all their injuries, they still have a better team from front to back than Real Madrid. I bet he wish he kept a little bit quieter now. We've got a super chat. Make sure that like button's being hit, people. Let's get this past 1,000 likes, please. It says, never compare those passion merchants, Gerrard and Lampard, to Kroos and Real Madrid's Modric. No Premier League midfielder except Scholes can control the game like those two. And do you know what? Interestingly, statistically, you'll be able to check it. Ball retention, how often they were dispossessed, how often they lost the ball in the middle of the park or in their own half. Toni Kroos and Modric may not be at their potent best of 3 or 4 years ago, but what a performance from those two veterans of the game tonight. They were sensational. And, you know, Vinicius Jr.'s had a lot of stick for not hitting the heights that he's kind of potential promised. But I thought he was absolutely excellent tonight as well, potent and dangerous. And they're going to be on the counter-attack the entire game at Anfield in a week's time. Liverpool are going to have a tough job on their hands. Daniel says, Liverpool not good enough defensively tonight, but the tie is not over yet. Believe. And do you know what? I respect that. Liverpool fans, do you think you're out? Do you think you can come back? I want to hear from you right about now. What is this career-ending statement from LFC Sonny? I say career-ending. It might be career-defining for him. But, at least he had the balls to come out and say what he thought and felt. Phantom of many topics says Haaland was no better than Timo Werner in game. You know what? I thought he held the ball up very, very well tonight. He had one opportunity to score and didn't quite connect how he wanted to, but instrumental in the equalizer. And I'm telling you this now, if Liverpool are still in their game, Dortmund are. We're going to see a lot of nerves from this Manchester City team in the second leg due to their inability, generally speaking, to get through this stage of the competition. I think what we will see in the next game is nerves aplenty. Dortmund may be a little bit more aggressive, but in the hard light of day, should have been 2-2 tonight. It should have been 2-2. It's game on there, and don't sleep on Haaland. He had a quiet game, but he still set up a goal. Jerome here says Liverpool are done out here. Maybe they can pull a miracle at Anfield. Looking at City's Phil Foden, he's the best young English player this year. Yeah, Phil Foden's been absolutely sensational. There is no doubt about that whatsoever. Dortmund will get touched next week, unfortunately. I don't know yet. If that's true. Lots of people building up backstage ready for you, but keep hitting that like button as we go bring the panel on soon. Maximus says, how's them lemons? Do you know what, Maximus? I expect Man City fans to not care about that decision going against them. I absolutely do. If I was a Man United fan, I wouldn't care. I just wouldn't. So I expect it. But remember, you reap what you sow in football. It has the habit of throwing some karma your way at all times. So just be mindful of that. A comment here from Mr. Thomas says, I think this game partly disproves the myth that Haaland needs creative players around him to thrive. He's a class lone striker of the highest order. And I think that's one of the best super chats we've ever had in terms of football. He was. Every time the ball come to him tonight, it pretty much stuck. His control was good. His first touch was there. He was strong enough to hold off the likes of Diaz and Jones when he needed to. He brought his colleagues into play. Not a bad pass on him either. I'm not comparing him to the same level as, say, a Zlatan or a Harry Kane in possession of the ball, but this guy can play as a lone striker, and he may not have got the goal tonight. He may not have been on the winning team, but he's instrumental in keeping Borussia Dortmund in this tournament, no doubt. Aaron here says, worst first half I've seen all year from us. The whole team was off. Tight isn't over yet, but it's an uphill climb. Have to keep some belief. You'll never walk alone. I get you've got to keep some belief. Legan Sweet here says, we love VAR. We love VAR. And Phil Foden, beautiful performance. Listen, Phil Foden was excellent. His shooting was a little bit off, but the way he was cutting through Dortmund's back line was sublime. It truly, truly was. No doubt about that whatsoever. Let's do some more of your live comments here before we start bringing the panel on. Bayern will whoop City is what Nicole Rogers thinks. Just don't. Do you know what's crazy about the Champions League? Pretty much everybody's predictions were wrong. Everybody thought that Dortmund would be... They were sliced open, but everyone said they'll get destroyed tonight. They didn't. City looked their nervous selves. They just looked a little bit shaky. They got the win, but just about with the possession they had and how often they were in the Dortmund half, should have been more comfortable, but it wasn't. And it leaves it wide open. There's an away goal there as well. And that's what keeps Liverpool in this, is that away goal. An early goal at Anfield, an early goal at Dortmund next week. And listen, the mentality element creeps in. And when it comes to the Champions League, we have seen many, many upsets in the past. Strip Bear in the house said Madrid were supreme, magical to watch. They were at times tonight. Their ball retention was exemplary. Exemplary. It truly, truly was. Can't be denied. Look at that. When you play a double pivot or you play two in midfield that can hold on to the ball well, what a difference. What a difference. JP says, Terry, did you see how Foden was talking to Haaland at the end of the game? Hashtag, where does Haaland go? How did Liverpool let Vinicius score 2 goals? Hashtag exposed. Thank you very much for those super chats. Keep them coming. We're going to start bringing the panel in bit by bit. We're going to start off with Official Safe and Ram as Liverpool fans. We've got KJ backstage, Jem backstage, Neeks backstage as well. Stay with us. Loads to come. You're going to get your chance to come on the air as well. Get this stream past 1,000 likes, ladies and gentlemen. Terry, it's written in the stars. Hazard masterclass at Anfield. Hazard will want... Listen, I know I sometimes get on at Hazard, but Hazard against Trent. That's not even fair, bruv. It'll be like taking candy from a baby. It will. And I'm a fan of Trent, but that guy. Let's start bringing the panel on, people. Let's do this. Evening, gents. We've got Safe here, Ram here, 2 Liverpool fans. I'm going to go to Ram first of all. You were embarrassed tonight. Give me your thoughts.
Outthought, and utterly embarrassed. That's what you have to say about this performance. Credit to Real Madrid. Those 3 midfield, Casemiro, Modric, and Kroos. Wow. Like, utterly just wow. They just show, when I heard Sonny saying what he said, I was like, bro. No matter how bad their form is, they still got that quality, and they showed it tonight. Benzema being that constant threat that he was. Vinicius, like you said, Vinicius had a lot of stick this season, but the problem is we haven't doubted his talent. It's just that he doesn't get that consistency, and if he's on his day, he's absolutely killer.
Yeah, no, I hear you, Sonny. How about yourself, mate? I mean, what I want to know. I want to hear your words on Trent Alexander-Arnold's performance tonight.
You know, it's funny you ask that because that's literally the name I was going to start with. Trent is a very forward-going winger. Today, he could not go forward at all simply because Vinicius Jr. is literally, he's faster than my car. Like, I'm not even joking. That guy is rapid. And as Liverpool, the way we play and everything in the Premier League, and it's worked so well because our fullbacks can join the attack. But we learned that your fullbacks need to be able to defend as well. And today we were missing that. Like, I'm not going to lie, Trent almost did nothing defensively. Like, I don't want to criticize him too much because he did start to develop as the game went on, but it was too late. Like, Vinicius had him on tight ropes from the first minute of the game, and he let him know every single time. And you can see Trent's frustration. He had to go at the linesman. He got pushed by Vinicius Jr. as well because there's literally nothing else he could do, and it was just shocking. And I know you said something about Naby Keita not being the best choice today and everything like that. I don't think he was that bad. He just didn't fit the system. Like, he had good moments, but it just wasn't.
No. He wasn't. He was that bad. He was that bad. Even like I heard, Klopp needs to get a lot of heat for this. He has to get a lot of heat for this. I cannot believe he dropped Thiago, probably our best player at ball retention. He didn't put him on this field at the start of the game. It was absolutely disgraceful. I love Klopp. I love Jurgen, but that move to bring in Keita instead of Thiago when you have saucy midfielders like Kroos and Modric and Casemiro, it's absolutely horrendous, absolutely shocking. He needs a lot of heat for that. Bro, if you have a lot of saucy players in your team, surely we should use the amount of sauce that we have. And our sauciest player is Thiago. It's as simple as that. Like, I don't understand why you didn't put him on. Like, it's just
no. Look, I can understand you. I can understand that starting Naby over Thiago probably wasn't the best idea, but Naby wasn't that bad on the pitch. He didn't work in the system. Like, and the way Naby plays, you're talking about saucy and everything. The way he picks the ball up, takes on people as if they're not even existing, and moves the ball forward, which is what we needed today. He was doing that, but it just wasn't matching with the team. He seemed on one wavelength, and the rest of the team seemed on another wavelength.
That's been Naby Keita since he signed, and as I said, I call him Baby Keita because he ain't this player that we saw play at Leipzig. He isn't this player that was dominating there. He was atrocious. Sonny, you told us yesterday that you, even with your injuries, you had a better team than Real Madrid. You jumped for joy when you pulled them drawed them out in the draw. What went wrong tonight?
I didn't even underestimate Real Madrid. I just overestimated us. We were so bad. It's like when year 11s back in school. You go over to the year 7s, you take the ball, you just start passing it around, and Real Madrid were playing in slow motion. Everything that could have went wrong for us went wrong. Wijnaldum as captain tops it off as well.
Do you have any faith of getting through now? Do you think you can turn this round at Anfield?
It's not even called Anfield anymore. It's just a stadium. We might as well be playing like Budapest again. Anfield's no longer Anfield. It's just a stadium. If there's no fans, it's useless.
So you got no faith. You don't.
No. We're not going through. We're not going through.
Sonny, I know you feel like that now. Yeah, look, we're only 2 goals behind, and everything's possible. The thing is, we went. You saw how we started that second half. Yeah, we did look strong, and we went and got the goal. Probably not the best way to score a goal and everything, but we went and got it. And when it was 2-1, everything seemed possible. We've got
Vinicius Junior,
a 2-goal deficit.
Vinicius Junior is known for not finishing, and he goes and scores 2 against us.
Yeah, no.
He's known for not finishing, and what he done against us was only finish. It's not even because he was so good today; it's because we were so bad.
Yeah.
Why does Jurgen Klopp keep getting it so wrong though? The decision not to start Thiago tonight. Can
I take this one?
Example. Why does he keep getting it wrong, Ram?
I think he did a Pep. He tried to overcomplicate it. Like it was. I think any Tom, Dick, or Harry would have known that play Thiago and Fabinho in the double pivot because it works so well, and he didn't do that. Like ball retention was poor, and we all know how fast Vinicius is, and we still that high line. I don't know why we're playing that high, especially with a guy like Nat Phillips, who's not the fastest in the world.
You say ball retention was poor though. Their pass completion rate was 83%. Yours was 86%. And you had 53% of the ball. You had more of the ball. You had better pass completion. The difference is the 2 things. Liverpool's 2 biggest issues this season.
Backwards and sideways.
There was no cutting edge from your midfield or from your attackers at all, really, in the game. There was one moment and it led to a goal. And then you were equally as bad defensively. And I think it spells disaster for maybe the Kabak-Phillips partnership because Fabinho has moved back into there. There's no need to change that. Like Fabinho's the best CM in the Premier League and he was moved back into defence last night. It's Jurgen Klopp. Maybe he's going to lose faith in that again. But I do think as a club, you need to start looking at Trent Alexander-Arnold as well because defensively, he is a championship football player. He's a championship player when it comes to defending. And now that you're not as potent going forward and teams aren't as scared of you and they come at you, he's being exposed. And Gary Neville, I didn't agree with all of his decisions last night for the England squad. But when he spoke about why he understands the reasons that Gareth Southgate wouldn't pick Trent, he was ridiculed and laughed at. And everything Neville said last night, you saw from Trent today. Doesn't close down quick enough. He's too easy to beat. He's caught out of position time and time again. And of course, all defenders make mistakes. But Trent Alexander-Arnold was heralded as the best right back in the world. And do you know what? We lost our heads. As football fans, we lost our heads for an 18-month period where we looked at a fullback and we neglected how good or bad they were at defending. And it was just about how good are they at crossing the ball and creating chances. And we forgot about the basic fundamentals. Then as soon as Liverpool's attacking elements have regressed and they've gone backwards slightly, he has been exposed as a bang average right back. There is no doubt about it. Trent is a bang average right back when it comes to defending because he isn't even learning. He isn't even learning from his mistakes. He's been like this since 2017, 2018 when he first started playing. And there's been almost zero improvement. And I think it's an area that Liverpool need to look at. Move him into midfield, move him further up the pitch, allow his creative and playmaking abilities to shine through. But if you want to get back to being successful, one of the areas you've got to change is Trent Alexander-Arnold because he is one of the worst defensive right backs in the Premier League, no doubt.
Terry,
for me,
sorry, if I ever came across you saying that on a stream and everything, any other game, and I would have literally stood up for Trent, and I wouldn't have taken that from you, Terry. But today, I'm not gonna lie, it was an eye opener for me. I think it was an eye opener for a lot of Liverpool fans that you need to be able to defend if you're in the back four, and it's as simple as that. They doubled up on Trent from the beginning of the game, and then they realised they don't even need 2 people on him. They only need Vinicius Junior, and that's it. Trent can't even handle that. And I'm not going to sit here and start attacking Trent, blah, 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 because defensively he's crap, yeah, but attackingly he is beneficial. And we saw that towards the end of the game where he was joining Salah in the attacks, playing those crosses and a couple passes here and there. But then again, what happened? They went and attacked down his side, and he just cannot get back in time or be strong enough to be able to hold a player down while the rest of the defense get back. So,
mate,
it's frustrating, isn't it?
Absolutely. Viewers, we're going to start bringing some of the rivals on that I have their say. We've got David, KJ, Neeks, Jem, Egal, all backstage. They're all going to be coming on the show this evening. So make sure you stay with the Football Terrace. Hit that like button, though. Let's go past 1,000 likes. Liverpool fans, we're going to open up the lines to you a little bit later. First on, we're bringing in Neeks and we're bringing in man like KJ. Gentlemen. How are... Oops, wrong buttons I hit there. Good evening. Man City getting through tonight, just about. Liverpool getting a bit of a slap. I want to go to you first, KJ. Give me your thoughts.
When I said don't sleep on Real Madrid, that's all I got was KJ, they're dead. Oh, look at their form. Oh, KJ, what are you talking about? I told you, man, about these Donnies in this competition 13 times. You don't get 13 Champions Leagues for no reason, bruv.
No, but you can't say 13. Some of these players weren't alive when they won something.
Yo, Sonny, shut up, fam. Your team got pammed. You ain't no position to talk right now, fam. Listen, these guys, when it comes to the Champions League, they know what to do. They know what they're doing. They don't care about the league form because this competition means something to them. And all you Liverpool fans mocking them, saying that they're dead, saying that they're no longer good
I didn't even say that either.
I didn't do that.
Making out like there's some next
I
didn't call it.
Liverpool fans have you been talking to you about you Liverpool fans?
Oi, jumping for joy that you got Real Madrid. Get out of here, fam. They are the kings of this competition. And today they showed why. I don't care what anyone says. You Liverpool fans, reality check.
I hear you.
Relax yourselves.
We're also here talking about Man City as well. What was your thoughts on that game?
I think Dortmund did well, you know. Credit to Dortmund because I think most people expected Man City to win, which obviously they did in the end. Most people expected Man City to go through, which they may well still do. But Dortmund matched them. I would maybe not blow for blow, but they matched them all the way from beginning to end. They got better as the night went on. They were completely robbed of a equalizer in the first half, and they got obviously a deserved equalizer right there near the end. City got, I guess, a winner that their overall play deserved. They created more chances. Foden probably should have scored before he actually did. But I think, and I said at the time, like, the referee was shocking. He was shocking because he gives that penalty in the first half, which with Emre Can's foot nowhere near Rodri, who leans in actually, and he gives it as a high foot. Then he goes to check VAR, and it's like he looked reluctant to even overturn it because he was at the monitor for ages, looking like he wanted to give it. I was actually worried that he was going to give it. He didn't rescind Emre Can's yellow card, I believe. I didn't see it on the TV anyway, which is a bad decision. And then the goal that wasn't in terms of Jude Bellingham. All you have to do is wait 2 seconds for him to put the ball in the back of the net. Then you can blow and say foul, but you allow VAR to then help you to make the right decision. He was so trigger happy in Man City's favor that I think it was a shocking decision.
Bellingham got booked as well.
Bellingham got booked.
Yeah.
It goes to show that when people talk about, oh yeah, his English refs are crap. Yeah, maybe it's not just English refs. Maybe refereeing overall has been exposed because of VAR. VAR has come in obviously to assist the referees, but because we have all the slow-mo cameras, etc., it's exposing that I guess these referees are actually just human. That's what happened. But today he was shocking. Dortmund, unlucky.
No, do you know what?
I was watching both.
I was watching both, and I did feel for Dortmund. I really, really did, because it wasn't even that the referee made the wrong decision. It's the fact that he acted outside of protocol. And the reason, and I've said this in the last few weeks, I used to love VAR. I thought it was saving so many games where what should have happened tonight is that the goal was disallowed, and then VAR comes in and we allow the goal to stand. And it's like, oh, wow, you've saved the team there from losing a clear goal that should have stood as an example. But they've now changed VAR into this mechanism to almost double down and back referees even when they make bad decisions. In the Liverpool game, you had it tonight. It wasn't a penalty, but Modric was fouled going into the box. Referee said no, like there was no contact. And you watch the replay back, and it was clearly a foul. Why are they not bringing that back for a free kick?
It wasn't a penalty.
Yeah, it's not a penalty, but it's a foul, isn't it? It's a free. You know, these things are terrible, really. We've got a comment here that says, David here, Terry, Real Madrid fan here, of course. We outplayed Liverpool for 80% of the game. Modric, Kroos, and Casemiro were amazing.
100% of the game.
Can I speak about Liverpool quickly, specifically Trent? Because, you know, I'm going to do a prime right here, innit? I told you lot, man. I told you lot. Trent Alexander-Arnold is not a He's not a right back. He's not a right back. That's frank. He's a playmaker playing in the right back position. He's always been that. Doesn't take away his footballing ability, but he's not a right back in the true sense of the word. When you look through all the right backs in history, even the most attacking ones like Dani Alves, even like Maicon, Cafu for me was an all-rounder. They had defensive abilities. Even when you go to the left back position, Roberto Carlos, who was maybe accused of being a bad defender, he was a better defender than Trent Alexander-Arnold without taking away from his attacking prowess. Trent Alexander-Arnold has been covered by having two top quality centre backs beside him, or one obviously right to the left of him, and Jordan Henderson, who fills in the position when he's allowed to bomb forward, which is Klopp's system. Trent Alexander-Arnold is a right back in a system that has to be perfect to allow him to work. When you fill in with the likes of who was the midfield, Naby Keita,
Wijnaldum,
who was in the midfield? There's three of them.
Why are we calling Naby Keita?
Fair enough, Fabinho. But when you have then Kabak and Nat Phillips, it exposes his defensive elements, which are hidden when he's surrounded by world-class players. As an individual, he's not a good right back. And when it goes to England, as you mentioned, in terms of Gary Neville, they don't have world-class centre-backs. So if you play Trent Alexander-Arnold next to a John Stones, a Maguire, with Declan Rice or Dyer in the midfield, he will be exposed in that system. He cannot play right back for anyone other than Liverpool when everyone's fit.
It's almost as if Liverpool could have done with Wan-Bissaka today, couldn't they? Someone who can actually defend 1v1. But
why is it an issue then? If Trent can play in our team when people are fit, it shouldn't be an issue then.
No, because everyone's never going to be fit all the time. So then what? Then what?
Yeah, my view. My
sense what you said. Go on, sorry.
So you think he's a right back? What team does he play right back?
No, but you're saying that it has to be specific to a system and everything. Every team is built on some sort of system. Like Man City, you can look at, for example, a very intricate system based on certain players. Those players go missing, then the people around them struggle. Every single football team is like
No. Sergio Aguero is a striker in every system. Mahrez is a right winger in any system. Phil Foden's a creative midfielder in any system. Trent Alexander-Arnold is only a right back in Liverpool's system.
Like four attacking players, and attacking players.
Okay. Kyle Walker's a right back in any system,
but he wouldn't fit into Klopp's system, for example. He just doesn't have the pace for it.
Kyle Walker,
not the pace.
Because Trent Alexander-Arnold's not fast anyway. But Trent Alexander-Arnold is only a right back in this system because their playmaker comes from that side. Anywhere else, he would never be. He couldn't be a right back for Man United because we want our fullbacks to be able to defend. He couldn't be a right. Could he be a right back for City?
No, I'm not denying the fact here that he's specific to a system. But what I'm saying is a lot of players are built to a specific system. For example, I'm going to talk about Liverpool because they're what I know best. But for example, Fabinho works in Liverpool well because he works in that system where he has, for example, Van Dijk behind him, where he's got two strong centre-backs behind him, and he's got more attacking midfielders in front of him that he can play the ball to. Now, if those players go missing, of course, he's going to be a weak
I would say Fabinho will be a world-class defensive midfielder regardless of who's around him.
Trent as well. Your system has Liverpool's system. Let's not get dragged into this myth that you only started getting beat when Van Dijk was injured. Your bad run of form started in March 2020, and you were still getting pammed and beat and opened up on a more regular basis up until the knee injury of Virgil van Dijk. As soon as your system started to be circumvented and teams weren't as afraid of it, Trent Alexander-Arnold's defending has been completely and utterly exposed. So unless he's playing in a team that is barely being attacked, as it was for a while, he's always going to be exposed, and he has to work on that defensive element if he's going to progress. We're going to refresh some of the panel here. We're going to keep it going later on in the show, ladies and gentlemen. You get the chance to come on and have your say. So stay with us. Make sure you're smashing that like button. Let's get this past 1,000 likes. We're live. Ram, thanks very much, mate, for coming on and having your say. Really appreciate it, bro. Next up on the show, we have man like Igal is here. What you saying, Igal?
Yo, Sonny, you're my guy, but you had a howler. Absolute howler. And I told you when we were talking, even though my internet was terrible, I still got it through to you that Real Madrid
I actually don't know if you did. You were frozen.
Half the time I was frozen, but now you can hear me loud and clear. You underestimated this Real Madrid team. You looked at a combined 11 with Real Madrid with Nat Phillips in it, and you said, you know what? That doesn't look like.
No.
Liverpool
That
players
tweet
in there.
wasn't about the combined 11. It was about the ratings. I thought he was very low as a rating. It wasn't about him being in there.
Okay,
Oh.
let's talk about the game though. You guys are talking a lot about Trent. There's a bigger issue. Klopp made 2 decisions, and they did not benefit his team performance today. I'm not only going to make fun of the manager. Obviously, he did make a decision later to change it and fix it, but their form in the league cannot translate to the Champions League when they face opposition like us, Arsenal, that did not attack them at all in comparison to Real Madrid. I'm making fun of my own team here. I'm saying, you know what? We did not attack you. When you guys played Real Madrid, you've seen that your wingers cannot defend by themselves. You needed Mo Salah and these guys to help them out. You needed your midfield to help them out. They did not help them out. That's why Trent got exposed. As much as Trent is a world-class attacker, I get it. Defensively, he's not the best, but here's where I'll stand up with him. His form goes whereas Liverpool go. Liverpool were amazing against us, and Trent Alexander-Arnold was absolutely stupendous. If at Anfield he can have a good game, I can still see them winning this tie. But his form, they're dependent on his form and Jota's form. And also, why did Klopp not begin the game with Thiago Alcantara? I have no idea, because Naby Keita has not been good all season.
Boy,
and Nat Phillips, let me just finish one thing. Nat Phillips, you guys actually had the audacity to say he... maybe not you guys especially, but some fans had the audacity to say this guy's now a cult hero after a couple games. Come on.
It was more than a couple games. I ain't going to sit in line. Nat Phillips was very good up until today.
But a cult hero.
Listen. We're not talking about one of the biggest frauds in the Premier League, bruv. This guy that came in, for what, 40 M's plus another 40, potentially 80 M's or something ridiculous like that. Took the number 8 shirt of Gerrard. Was supposed to revolutionize the midfield. He's better than Paul Pogba. This fraud Naby Keita, bro.
KJ, they wanted to pay extra. They wanted to pay extra the year before.
I want to pay extra. All right, listen, no. Say, let me have my time, brother. I've seen the tweets.
I don't even know what you're on about. Have you even watched him play this season?
Yeah, no, because he never plays. Because he never plays.
How you sitting there calling him a fraud if you ain't even watched him?
Because every time he does play,
expectations.
Okay, because every time he does play, he does a little turn, little shimmy, and people are like, oh yeah, Naby Keita's back. He's ready. He's gonna come and tear up the Premier League. Every single time he does nothing.
I'm not gonna lie, if this is one of your players, you're talking about they're sitting there defending them, saying they haven't got the game time to develop into the game yet. My guys, come on. Starting against Real Madrid, not the best option.
You know why? You know the reason why he's forward, because man can sit down and get injured on a plane, bruv. How do you go on a plane and come off injured, fam? The guy is always out injured, fam. I don't care. I don't want to hear but this stand the third.
No, but you started the whole thing about saying he's a fraud and everything, and now
let's have this right. I know Naby Keita came in with all this hype, and he's still getting. He's been at your club 3 years. Every season he plays less and less games. He hasn't. What are his famous? Like, tell me his 5 famous games in your club colours in his 3 years.
I'd struggle to name you 5 games he's played.
No, but that's the point. It's like he doesn't, and it's not about he's a flop because he's a bad footballer. His body's broken. It's like Chelsea fans are coming to that realization with Christian Pulisic. Doesn't matter how good his ability is, his body can't last. Eric Bailly, for me, I think he's a sensational centre back, but his body is made. These players are Mr. Glass, from Unbreakable and Glass, a film.
Yeah.
Like Samuel Jackson settings, like they're just bodies break down. And picking him tonight was crazy. And do you know what? 42 minutes on that clock came in, and Klopp went, "What have I done?" At least, and in fairness. In itself, even that was an atrocious thing to do. He did it just before half-time to make himself look like, oh, you know what? I'm going to look like I'm ruthless here. No, you give him the last 3 minutes would have made no bloody difference. Do it at half-time, but instead you embarrass Naby Keita after Jurgen Klopp throws him into a game that he should never, ever have been picked for. He really shouldn't. And the Liverpool midfield needs such an overhaul. Ox has got to go.
Yep.
Keita's got to go. Thiago needs to improve massively. There's no doubt. Jordan Henderson's getting on a little bit now. Like, so much money needs to be spent. And
Wijnaldum's probably going.
Wijnaldum's going.
Milner's still one of the best ones.
Milner's one of the best midfielders still. Listen, Safe, thank you very much for coming on, mate, and having your say. We're going to refresh the panel a little bit more. Thank you. Next up,
go, so bring them in.
Yeah, Dave is joining us, but go on, Nix.
No, yeah, I was going to say, I think obviously Liverpool fans are desperate to be back because obviously this season for them has been so bad. So when they get a kind of a little light, right, they think, okay, that's the light at the end of the tunnel, we're there. And I said it even after the Arsenal game. They beat Spurs, they beat West Ham, both away, and they were good performances. But I said, I want to see how they do in the games they've struggled in. Let's see how they do it at home, Anfield, for example, and they go and lose those games. Then they'll go and beat Arsenal, and, Trent's back, Liverpool's back. They can go and beat Real Madrid. But when you look at even the Leipzig game when they qualified, Leipzig had a number of chances, especially in the first leg. They had a number of chances to get goals, and they failed to take it. We have to look at those things as opposed to even just the results. They beat Arsenal, they beat Spurs, they beat West Ham. Therefore, they're back. The issues that have been plaguing Liverpool have continually plagued them, regardless of whether they win, lose, or draw. So I'm not even confident for them going back to Anfield, where it's supposed to be a fortress in the Champions League, of going through. I think Real Madrid, for me, they have to go through.
Do you know what's embarrassing as well? Do you know what's embarrassing? And I know a lot of Liverpool, most of the Liverpool fans we have on this show, and I wish Stroh was here tonight to have a chat with us as well. I was listening to Steve McManaman tonight during the commentary. And when they were moving the ball around badly, he's saying things like, I'm paraphrasing here, but it's like, oh, how Liverpool, why are Liverpool so bad tonight? This is a shock to us. I'm thinking, what have you been watching for 13 months? Whenever I see Liverpool have a bad game and it's live on TV, the commentators talk like it's a new thing, like it's a shock, like there's how did it go wrong tonight? Oh, Naby Keita didn't have a great game, though. Oh, come on, Trent. It's not like you to make mistakes. Fuck off. It's getting on my absolute tits when I'm listening. Like, I pay for these TV channels, and they sit there and pretend, oh, you know what? The Anfield magic will get them through. Have you seen the form at Anfield? Have you seen how they're performing? It is crazy. Liverpool was slowly slipping off the edge of a cliff from the 1st of March 2020 until now. Steve McManaman, I'm addressing you directly, sir. Legendary football player in British and Europe in the European game. But pull your head out your ass, drop the bias, and admit that Liverpool have been found out in the last 30. This ain't a bad run of form. This ain't because RIP Van Dijk. This is because the system has been found out. The midfielders you have collectively are either past their best or they were never, ever good enough. Mane's having a shocker. Firmino can't score goals. And Trent can't defend to save his life. It's just embarrassing that nobody wants to address the elephant that's in the room when it comes to Liverpool Football Club. And I ain't trying to get at Liverpool fans. I feel sorry for Liverpool fans because they're being lied to. They're being, maybe what I'm seeing isn't true because all the pundits keep telling us that it's all going to be okay. Fuck off. Fuck off. It's so annoying.
Like David said, the Klopp effect, fam. The Klopp.
No, this isn't.
No.
The funny thing is, this isn't even it. They're not prepared for what happens next. They're not prepared. They think, oh, next season, just waiting it. But
Um,
and that's it. David, I'll come to you. I want to speak to you about the Dortmund City game tonight because we haven't spent a lot of time on that. Viewers, smash the like and share button.
As a Dortmund fan.
As a Dortmund fan, yeah, what you saying? What you saying?
I thought he did quite well. I'm gonna keep using we because you guys are having a go at me, so I'm gonna keep saying it. I thought we did quite well. Foden was so good. He had Moray on skates. He was absolutely just skinning him alive. But Haaland had his chance, man. If that goes in 1-1, also I don't talk about refs. Very rarely I talk about refs, but that's an embarrassment. That was absolutely shocking. That should have been, if you're gonna blow the whistle before he puts the ball in the back of the net. How has Ederson not got a red card? Because he's clearly he has fouled Jude Bellingham before he's even got to the ball. That should be a red card. It should be.
Yeah, you're saying VAR should have overturned it.
The amount of times there are offsides in this game where they will keep it going for 30, 40 seconds, keep it playing, and they won't say anything. That was the one time where being hasty with a decision, it doesn't make sense to do so, and he was just like blew it straight away, and I'm thinking, that's a goal.
He was obviously clean through.
I could have been
obviously clean through.
Edison, that has to be a red card. If you're going to blow it up there,
it's not a red card. It's not a red card because he didn't deny him a goal-scoring opportunity. Jude Bellingham scored. It isn't even a foul on Jude Bellingham. Like, he scored. The point is, it's not the mistake. I can understand the referee thinking that Jude Bellingham in real time caught Edison. It's the blowing the whistle thing. If it isn't corrupt, then it's incompetence. And if it's incompetence, he should not be in the Champions League for the remainder of the season. and he should be removed next year because it's one of the
I mean,
in this era with video evidence. In this era with video evidence, that should never, ever, ever, ever happen. Period.
And this is the problem with VAR that we have. Like Neeks, you've said it before. It doesn't go off. Are we overturning the incident? Are we correcting the incident? It's are we correcting the decision?
No, but that one's not even on VAR. That is on the ref because the VAR can't be like, well, you blew your whistle, but Jude put the ball in after. That is just the referee.
I was kind of hoping if Jude shot it earlier, then VAR might be able to intervene because he took about 2 more touches. The referee blew. But you shouldn't have to rely on that.
It shouldn't. It was an absolute disgrace. I want to speak about a couple of players. Though. We mentioned Phil Foden and how good he was tonight. KDB though, we had a caller on the football terrace last night who said that KDB's a bum. We had a caller on the football terrace last night that said he never turns up in sort of knockout games, Champions League games. I thought he was sensational tonight. What did you make of his performance, David?
It was so good. That pass to put it over. Munir's not a small guy. That's not a small. He's 6'1", 6'2". To put it over his head and drop it right there is it's out of this world. It's out of this world, and he was causing us problems. There's one moment where he picks up the ball in midfield, turns. Jude tries to take him down, bodies him. Delaney tries to take him down, bodies him again, and literally it goes a foot wide of the post. I'm thinking as he's running through, that's it. It's 2-0 and we're out of this tie. But he is so good. However, a good thing is Haaland didn't get a yellow, so he's available for the second leg, and it's only 2-1. We won't keep a clean sheet.
Who do you? I mean, you make City favourites, but do you feel like you've got more of a chance now because it's 2-1? Because you thought you were going to get slapped tonight. So are you like quietly confident Dortmund could get through now, especially with?
You know what? I'm saying it now. I'm saying it now. Dortmund are making it through. I'm saying it now. Give it chest. I don't, because the thing is, if it goes wrong, it doesn't really affect me. It's not the end of the world. Dortmund are going through. Marco Reus.
If it goes wrong, you don't support them anymore.
2-0. 2-0. It's 2-0. We're going,
there we go.
Through.
There we go. 1 second ago. Sonny, listen, mate, thank you very much for coming on and having your say. You are currently trending on our Twitter page, by the way, from your comments yesterday. But that's the name of the Twitter game, my friend. Thank you very much for coming on.
In a bit.
Top man, thank you. We're adding a man like Conroy. We've got Jem backstage. It's coming on very, very soon. And we're going to go to your calls. Conroy's here. But go on, Igal. You were going to say something, bro.
Do you guys feel like City, just before they got the goal to win them the game, the Phil Foden goal, for a second, I'm like, City's cursed because they always play so well. And it looks like they're struggling in these games, which if this was a Premier League game, obviously Dortmund's not as the same level as some of these lower teams in the Premier League. But if this was a Premier League game, I feel like their confidence would be a lot higher. In the Champions League, I feel like I sense the nervousness throughout the game.
That's what it is. It's the nervousness. It's the pressure that they have. So go on.
If you saw what Haaland did to Diaz, fam, I was like, had to go in. But it was frustrating.
There's a level of difference between the majority of Premier League sides they play and Dortmund. Let's keep it honest. But also, I think it's 100%. There's pressure on both Pep and the players. They know they have to deliver. Like PSG, they know that the owners have invested X amount of money. They're paying us X amount for this one reason, to win the Champions League. So every time they go out there, the pressure that they have to win it, them and PSG, is different to every other club because it's the only reason for being. It's literally the reason that why they were created is to win the Champions League. So I do think it definitely does play on their mind because generally they should be beating Dortmund comfortably.
Yes,
more often than not, and it wasn't comfortable today.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You see, and that's why I think the second leg is going to be a potential banana skin. They're going to be away from home. If they get an early goal, I think they'll be fine. But if Dortmund score first in that game, and by the way, I thought Dortmund, I didn't look at it statistically tonight, but it was only 11 shots from City to 7 to Borussia Dortmund. Yeah, it wasn't, and 5 on target to 3 on target. It was fairly close in relation to that, no doubt. We're joined by Conroy now, of course, a Liverpool fan. Fresh haircut as well, I see, by the way. I hope that was done at home. Actually,
the barber's,
isn't it? Oh, you're in Scotland. I forget. Mate, listen, we've heard a lot about tonight's game. We spoke about Trent Navigator. Do you have any confidence now of making it through to the next round, mate?
If I do, it's a very small shred, to be honest. I was on a stream earlier watching it, a watch along, and I was saying, there's sometimes too many fans are like, when it got to 2-1, like, oh, keep going, get back in the game. I'm like, no, protect what you've got, because we've been absolutely awful. We've got a shred of luck with one shot on target and we've scored, but yet again. And for me, see, if it was any other season, there'll be fans next week who say, oh, what we've done Barcelona. But when you've got Quebec and Phillips and obviously Trent as well tonight defending like that, it doesn't matter really what you do at Anfield. We could score 3, but we could score 2, but I can't see us keeping a clean sheet against a experienced Madrid team. And I did say last night, you're talking about Sonny, I said, like, I felt like Madrid was a good draw for us in the sense of we had a chance of getting through. But I did also say that Madrid's midfield, they've got a mentality. In the last 10 years in this competition, Madrid are winners. And there's a difference between having a winner's mentality for 2 years or just having it. And what I mean by that is Madrid, I've watched the Champions League numerous times when Madrid have been awful, like open, conceding chances, but they win games. And I think you just saw the experience tonight. I mean, you just genuinely, we looked like we'd not played in the Champions League tonight, and they looked like champions of it last season. We were just hopeless. To be honest, Terry, a small percentage, but I can't see it. If we get an early goal, maybe get a bit of momentum and see what happens. But as you said, mate, like, we've not won at Anfield 6 games and lost 6 games in a row at Anfield. Is that going to change against Madrid? I can't see it, to be honest.
Yeah. This whole away goal. I see some Liverpool fans clinging hope to this away goal, which is fair enough. You've got it, but that is still 2 goals that you have to get at home.
Yeah, I think 2-1's different, KJ. 2-1's different, but 3-1, yeah, I agree, mate.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you have to also keep a clean sheet. If Real Madrid just get 1, you've got a mountain.
Tough, man. It's tough.
To climb.
Yeah. If there was fans at Anfield, and your former Anfield was good, you know what you'd be doing. You'd be surrounding the bus. There'd be flares. There'd be fireworks. There would be a cauldron of noise. I was in Manchester the night where you came back against Barca. I was in a hotel room because I was having work done on my sleeve, and I just remember watching that. I was in a hotel room afterwards. I'm watching the build up, and it was noisy. And from the first whistle, about 10 minutes into the game, I actually text my tattoo guy. He's a City fan. And I messaged him and I was like, mate, Liverpool are going to win this, just before Divock Origi scored. And as soon as that, he texted back going, yeah, 100%. You could feel it in the air. That's gone. That invincibility, that fortress at Anfield is dead and buried. And they will score at least 2 goals at Anfield, in my opinion, Real Madrid. They're going to catch you on the counter-attack like they did tonight. And the sad part, I suppose, for Liverpool is pretty much going to end your season, and we're at the beginning of April. And in fairness, like, the way you perform the majority of this year, that's about, they can't win a trophy. And for
they can't win a trophy, but the top 4 is back on still.
Yeah, but KJ, come on, greatest Premier League team of all time to drop.
That's a bad season. It's terrible. It really is. We're going to throw Jem into the mix now, and then we're going to go. All right, bro. Speak to you soon, mate. Take care. Neeks, thanks very much, mate. Jem's now with us. What you saying, Jem?
Yeah, not bad, boys. How are you? You all right? All good?
Yeah, bro. What game were you watching tonight?
Both. I'll give you a quick one on both.
Top man.
I didn't know, number one, I didn't know Kepa grew a moustache. Believe me now. I'm not even joking. Like, that third goal, you got to blame him for that. Stronger hand, mate. What's going on there? Do you know what I mean? It was straight at him. He hit his hand and hit the post and went in. Number 2, Quebec and Phillips, for me, are not even championship players, let alone Premier League players. I don't think they're good enough, mate. I think they're absolutely shocking. Midfield, Wijnaldum, Naby Keita, and I know Ram was crying about the whole factor of Thiago being on the pitch. He weren't doing anything when he came on anyways. What difference does it make when you're up against Toni Kroos, Modric and Casemiro? Like, leave it out. Do you know what I mean? And then I get told, and this is the other excuse that I've just heard recently on Twitter from Liverpool fans, not you, but just in general. Well, if we had a fully fit team, we would have smashed Real Madrid. Real Madrid didn't have their defenders like Liverpool didn't, but Liverpool still had their attackers, the attackers that they said are the best in Europe at the beginning of the season. That was quoted by Liverpool fans, So for me, look, Liverpool can still turn it around, but I just think Real Madrid on the day were a better team, they were more organised, and they got the job done, and I really don't see any way back with that. But in terms of the Man City, in the Man City game, I think all Dortmund missed was a Sancho. Because if Sancho was, I don't think Man City were that great. I know you guys were sitting there saying, no, Foden was great, this, that, and the other. I thought I think City play a very problematic football at the moment. They don't play how they used to, which is, well, all right, they might have been very open, But now they kind of sit back well. They're stronger in terms of without the ball. But I just feel like with a Sancho on the ball behind Haaland, you would have seen a lot more creativity for the big man up front. And I do think he would have been given more. And even though he given that one chance and he flattened Diaz on the floor and nearly scored. So can you imagine if he was given 2-3 more chances in that game? So
listen, I don't disagree. I don't think City were good tonight, but I also thought Borussia Dortmund turned up and played football. I think Borussia Dortmund had a good night as well. But watching Haaland tonight, his detractors will make out as if he didn't score tonight. That makes him average. But if Haaland was in the City team tonight, he'd scored 2 or 3 goals.
That chance that Foden got, he scored. He put it away.
Haaland puts him away. And as you say, the way he bullied past Diaz at times, his hold-up play, like Haaland is the real deal. People have got to wake up and smell the coffee.
Haaland has scored against every single Champions League team he's played against, which tells me, especially after the miss he had tonight, next game he's going into that proper. Like, I'm scoring today.
Yeah.
I'm seeing Dortmund as 1-0 up. I'm seeing Dortmund as 1-0 up already. I'm not joking.
And that first goal was given by Emre Can as well. When you think about it, if he didn't give that stupid pass, they wouldn't have been losing.
Such a simple pass, and he just passed it.
That goal wasn't even a miss. It wasn't even a miss per se. Like he did everything right. He was off balance. There's not much more that he could have done. He got it on target at the same time as well. So, that chance was big for him at the end.
Go on, Gal.
If he comes to the Premier League and you guys see him week in, week out, you're going to see that he misses more of those chances, that he skins people, and he's not as... Hear me out. Let me finish, David. Because we don't see him week in, week out, and we're not watching that league. Not everyone is. David, I know you are, but not everyone else is. The public opinion might change of him slightly. I'm not saying it's going to change all the way, because Mo Salah still scores a lot of goals, but people still make fun of him for certain things.
Oh my God!
Get Ronaldo and Messi for a minute. The greatest goal scorer to ever play on these shores is a man called Jimmy Greaves. Cristiano Ronaldo has only recently, in the last year or so, passed his goal scoring record, and he has very famously said, "If I scored the goals I missed and missed the goals I scored, I'd have 3 to 4 times as many goals on my record." Every single striker will miss far more than they score. Cristiano Ronaldo's conversion rate is around 18 to 19% over the last 10 years. Messi's is about 16%. They're two of the greatest goal scorers of our generation. Haaland will miss chances. But only if you're a detractor of Haaland, you're going to focus on that as an example. Mbappe is going to miss chances. Everyone's going to miss them. It isn't something to look at tonight. Phil Foden's a hero tonight, because the reason he was a hero is because City continued to create the opportunities and chances. If they didn't create anymore, you could have looked at Haaland and said he was a villain tonight. Foden said he was a villain tonight because he missed 2 or 3 really good opportunities when he was in good positions. If Haaland plays for a team that continues to create for a full 90 minutes and is dominant in the majority of games, he is going to score 40-plus goals a season every year when fit. And that is absolutely astronomical. It really, really is. We're going to go to some calls now. We're going to get some more people on to have their say. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you're smashing that like and share button. First up, Liverpool fan Rack is in the house with us. What you saying, Rack?
Hey guys, not a great night to be honest, but it's been a bit disappointing, unfortunately. But we live to fight another day. It's not over, but it's going to be very difficult. And Madrid basically played very, very well today, and I think I mentioned it yesterday in the call-in that that midfield basically gave us the runaround. And, you saw the power of Kroos, Modric and Casemiro today. Unfortunately, there is a logic to why Klopp put Keita in there, because I think he really fancied his chances for us to get out their centre-backs, and Keita's our best presser. But unfortunately, it didn't work. And look, at the end of the day, all you can say is if it doesn't work, at least he made the right decision to change it and bring Thiago back in. So,
how do you fancy your chances in the second leg? Are you confident Liverpool can turn it around?
It's difficult. I'd say 60-40 Madrid, because 2 goals is 2 goals, and I think we've only scored 1 goal at Anfield in the whole year. So it's going to be a bit tricky.
Wow, so you've got to triple your total just to get through to the next round. I hear that. And what did you make of Trent?
Goals, I think 2 goals will put us through on away goals, but
yes, it will. 2 goals. You need 3. In terms of Trent, I've been quite scathing. A lot of people are criticising him tonight. Another terrible defensive display. Are you, as a Liverpool fan, becoming a bit sick and tired of how bad he is at defending?
No, I don't. I think he's how bad he is at defending is a little bit overblown, because he's played against some very good attackers, and yes, he's not the best defender. I don't think anyone can rightly say that defending is the strongest part of his game. But as an overall player, he gives us so much. And as with both, as with any player, you weigh up their positives and negatives. And Trent, in my opinion, the way we play and the way Klopp wants to play, he gives us far more than he takes away. So it's a choice that you make based on how you want to play. Klopp chooses to play this system, and for this system, he chooses to play Trent because he thinks that's going to get the best out of his system. And over the last couple of years, 2.5 years, you can't really argue with that. Obviously, right now, it's not really going well. But I'm going to stick by Trent.
There we go. Listen, Rack, thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say. Really do appreciate that. Next up on the show, we're going to have Monsieur Ahmed. What you saying, Monsieur?
First off, Seri, absolutely frustrated. That was just horrible to watch. Conroy, you got a bang on the money. We got to a level 100 a couple of days ago, and we thought we were going to beat Real Madrid. It was an absolute stink of a performance. It was and massive heat has to go into Jurgen Klopp. Massive heat. I'm sorry. I said it from the start. When I was watching the team, I'm like, I'm not happy with the team. Why is Baby Keita playing? 41 minutes he breaks down. So Biscuit Keita, sorry. So he breaks down like so easily, because that was he just can't play a 90 minutes. He can't even play a 45 minutes. He should have played a double pivot on a 4-2-3-1 against a weak defense. I'm sorry. They played good Real Madrid defensively, but they never had Varane. They never had Ramos. We should have gone all out for them, but we didn't. And Klopp deserves so much criticism. Substitution was wrong. Tactics was whack. Trent was awful. I mean, you say the second half he stepped up, but the game was done and dusted. So what was it to step up on? And yeah, you're right, because Gary Neville got a bang on the money. He's going to be a massive liability. The only way he can play in an England squad is either back three, which he plays a wing back, which will not expose him in defence, or he goes into midfield. He cannot play as a right back. He's costing us more points than he's doing the crosses. He's good attacking. Play him in the wing. Yeah. And one player I want to call out is, I stuck my neck out for him so much over Salah, is Sadio Mane. He was absolutely atrocious. Last 5-10 games, he's been so bad. I mean, is he competing for a diving contest or something? He goes to the floor so easily, it's unbelievable. Sadio Mane, fix up.
I hear you on that, bro. Thank you very much for calling in and having your say. Really appreciate it.
I'm gonna head off as well. Catch you later, guys.
All right, bro. See you later, KJ. Do you know what I find really interesting with the Salah Mane thing? I feel like there's a lot of Mane fanboys who have been overtly attacking Mo Salah because Mo Salah's continued to deliver about the same level as the last few seasons, where Mane's regression, I think, is clear for everybody to see. And it's almost
Terry, I was going to say, you've known me, like I've always said that I think Salah is miles in front of Mane. I've always said it. Mane's best season is Salah's worst season at Liverpool, and like I don't even. The thing is, I think last season was he didn't overperform. He played really well last season, but I don't think that's him at his base. Like this is more closer to his base than last season was.
Disagree with that, mate. Mane's first season is unbelievable.
And also, one thing I do love about this game as well is that not only is Real Madrid's midfield like dominating Liverpool's, but they also contributed. And I'm starting to see Liverpool fans, they're turning on Wijnaldum, turning on Thiago a little bit, Navigator players like that, who, yeah, it's cool, you run around, you win the ball, but you also need that to contribute when going forward. And Liverpool's midfield, even though for 2.5 years it didn't have to, suddenly when your first option doesn't work, you need a second. And they don't have one. They literally, it doesn't exist. And having that midfield like a Cruz who can just ping an Aaron Rodgers level ball over the two centre backs is a massive help. And Liverpool
they don't have like for like replacements, Terry. That's the problem. Usually Liverpool keeps screaming about a system, but it looks like they're trying to shoehorn players into the system. They don't actually have like for like replacements for the players that they've been using in the team that they've had. So that's why you find Jota playing as a striker role. And obviously, even though I don't rate Firmino, Jota doesn't do what Firmino does. When Jota comes in for Mane, he could probably do that role. If Jota even gets moved out to the right-hand side, or somebody gets moved out like Shaqiri on the right-hand side, he can't do that job either. So they don't have like-for-like replacements, and their drop-off from their bench is so steep that you can tell why they're struggling and why they're in the position they're in.
I think what's interesting is that Liverpool have also just gone a little bit stale. The same players together 3 or 4 years, the same core for a fair while now. It goes stale. And I've seen my team have great players and have to rotate. Sometimes it's full, sometimes. I remember when Fergie got rid of Kanchelskis, Mark Hughes and Ince, it was laughed at and ridiculed. When he got rid of Ruud van Nistelrooy, it was laughed at, it was ridiculed. The only time Man United stopped doing this was the latter end of Fergie's career, when the Glazers weren't willing to sanction the prices of players at the time. You know, we should have been the team signing the Agueros and the David Silvas. We almost, to an extent, almost had first refusal. We were a much bigger team at the time, bigger club, bigger history, but we weren't prepared to spend the money. Prior to that, we were always letting players go, still in their pomp or just at the end of their peak, replacing them with individuals and making sure that there was never holes in the team, barring our goalkeepers. And that's where Liverpool are going a little bit wrong for me. Mane is a top-class player. I'm not even denying it, but I just think there's a bit of staleness. They needed to refresh things. Jota's injury this season has held them back a little bit, but they need a lot more. But the problem is you've set the standards up here. So to replace a Mane like for like, it costs a lot more money than when you bought Mane in. Are FSG willing to spend that money? We don't know. Next on the show, we've got Ryan Simmons is here, all the way from Jamaica. What you saying, bro?
Hey, Terry, what's going on?
Yeah,
I'm not even going to stay long because, tomorrow is a big day for us and I want to be here. Hopefully, I can come on with a happiness and not come on cross tomorrow. I understand? So I won't stay long. But just to and City thing, and, Igal my like rival, so I never really back him whenever I'm said. But he says something that I really agree with him. You see that Alan thing? He's a lovely striker. He's good. We all know how good it is. But what I start to look at, and I praise City so high and have them to go right through, but I start to look at things and I'm like, City didn't play that great today. And I don't feel like, to me, what I see, I don't feel like they will go all the way. They will still get through this tie. I feel like they're going to get through this tie, but I can't see them winning it. The thing with Alan, what I want to get back on, and I don't know if this is, maybe we underrate our league. You see, the Premier League is a top league. It's not any striker can come there and come do what they want to do, even though we know Alan is good. But you see, he get a City team today, right? We understand people going to match him up with what he do with theirs and stuff. But how often did he trouble their backline? So these strikers, when they in the Premier League, it's a different thing. And Igal say this thing, maybe because we're not seeing him week in, week out. Same thing with even Werner. When he was at Leipzig, he missed so much chance, but he still scored. Now at Chelsea, you say, he finding life hard. I don't give up on him because I know next season I feel like he's going to come. But it's not easy to play against the Premier League side. The Premier League is a top league. People have to understand this. You understand what I'm saying? So I can bet you, maybe even if he was playing in his league and play against what's your name, Bayern Munich today, Alan will do more. But I don't think he do much today. I'm telling you. I just feel like when the Bundesliga is so easy, I can say. All right, I should say not Borussia Dortmund. You know what I want to call the team? It's a grocery store. I don't know if you look at their players. These teams come like you just build up players to sell. They have so much young player and they're so good. But when they come against the English team, they play like average. Look at what's the other side? Gladbach when he was playing in the Champions League. Look how they come to City and play like they could even find their feet. So that league down there is just easy. The English league is really hard there. So I'm not even too crazy about these players down there coming from there and come to the England team because it's not easy. The English league is a top league.
Mate, I agree with you. It's a top league and it's difficult. Ryan, we'll definitely speak to you tomorrow after the Chelsea game. Take care of yourself, bro. Thank you very much indeed. Next up, we've got Tom Little. Tom Little, what are you saying?
I'm good, mate. You?
Yeah, very, very well. What do you want to say, young man?
That tonight was a shambles. And Adam, I think a lot of blame has to go onto Jurgen Klopp for that team selection. And I'm going to go against the grain here. I thought Naby Keita was actually a good pick for that midfield. But what he ended up doing with his tactics is not in short of criminal. You've got Luka Modric and Toni Kroos, who are renowned as two of the best passers of the decade. And we've given the pair of them the freedom of Madrid to spray long passes over the top of a slow defence. Yet asking to get murdered on the counter-attack. And he's stuck by this season for way too long. And recently, when we've been winning against Wolves or winning against Arsenal, the line was a bit deeper. We stepped it up today to try and maybe press, which is, if you're going to play Naby Keita, you're going to press. But if you're going to play Naby Keita, you cannot play Wijnaldum because it negates what Keita does. Gini Wijnaldum was abysmal today. Absolutely awful. I've never seen someone kill off so many attacks. The amount of times in that second half he'd stand there on the edge of the box and take too many touches, and then his only option then was to go backwards. And that gives Real Madrid an experienced team all the time in the world to get into shape. Sadio Mane, that's another one who this season's been so off it. You know, last season, if Sadio Mane would get fouled a couple of times, you'd see him get riled up. He had a chip on his shoulder. He got there to prove a point. This season, when decisions don't go his way, he just sort of puts his head down, downs tools, throws his toys out the pram. It's the only player who can hold his head up high today is Mo Salah. And I'd arguably say Ozan Kabak, because in that first half he was very good. But I don't even see us overturning this deficit in the second leg, sorry. We haven't scored at Anfield.
Didn't Kabak head the ball to Asensio for the second
No, that was
goal?
Trent.
Was that Trent? That was Trent.
That
Oh,
was
wow.
Trent.
That was Trent.
mate.
That was Kabak.
I actually thought Robbo played quite well tonight. I thought Robbo had a solid game. No one seems to be speaking about that. I don't think he got done. He's always solid defensively, but when you see Trent on the other side being horrific defensively, it actually negates how much credit he gets that no one tries to go down his side ever. And I thought Robbo was good second half. He actually laid on the chance for Jota. For some reason, Jota tries to pass to Mane when he should shoot, but that's just Liverpool to a T. But even if we'd scored that, it wouldn't have been deserved, to be honest. But yeah, I actually thought Kabak started okay, but then he had a few shaky moments. He had the chance when David, I think the part you're talking about is when he went to pass the keeper and he miscued it, and then Asensio ran on and hit it wide.
Yeah,
done that. But Kabak, to be fair, he had a few good moments. I just thought Liverpool, we talk about all these tactics, and I agree, mate, but I just think they were awful. Like, not one player, they couldn't keep the ball. They kept giving the ball away. I just think, I agree, Madrid, top midfield, but I honestly don't even think that was difficult for Madrid. I thought that was so easy for Madrid. I don't think they maybe got it for gear, to be honest.
Go on, Gal.
Do you know why? Because your movement off the ball is usually so stupendous. You guys are usually able to pick up space and people give you more time on the ball. What they did, they had two wingers occupying your fullbacks, and your fullbacks weren't able to come up and help get those overloads in the attack. So it caused you guys so much problems. And your biggest strength is usually those crosses from either fullback to get in either far post or near post headers, or just get in tap ins from those kind of areas from the creativity that they have. But today you weren't able to do that, and they started.
Well, I get that, Gal, but there was
Zidane
straightforward
masterclass.
passes they couldn't make. There was straightforward passes they couldn't make.
Nobody this whole time that I've been on the stream has given Zidane credit for what he's done. As much as you want to criticize Klopp for what he's done, Zidane had a perfect master plan, and both his wingers scored. And you know what? As much as you guys made mistakes, their plan worked to a T. So you can only criticize yourself so much.
I feel like calling it a Zidane masterclass is like.
Yeah, I mean,
I really
6-yard pass you couldn't make. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, Klopp really played into their hands, and the players didn't show up. Like everybody knows Vinicius. He may not be the best, finisher in the world, but he's got pace. So probably the best thing not to do is play a high line, and then whenever you attack, have your fullbacks take 5 steps forward. So it just leaves a massive gap in behind for your fullbacks.
And eventually, if you give someone enough chances, they'll find the back of the net once.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you know what stands out to me as well is I go back to the summer, and Liverpool have made some mistakes. They didn't buy quality cover in the centre back areas, which most people said you needed. They bought Jota in, and I know he hasn't been good for Chelsea, but it doesn't necessarily mean he wouldn't have been good for Liverpool. They pulled away financially from the Timo Werner deal. You had the Gini situation where, for me, you should have been more cutthroat and been like, if you don't want to be here, we're going to get rid of you and replace you. They didn't do that. So many decisions they made in the summer about not spending, who to go for, who to keep, have nearly all bit them in the backside, because Gini has had a bang average season by his normal standards. There wasn't enough of a refresh within the attacking line. Then Jota was out injured. He was the only guy that came in and impacted it. Mane's been off, but you can't drop Mane because there's nobody else that can come in and play to a high enough standard, as an example. And then you had the injuries at the back. There's so many things that have gone wrong for Liverpool this year, from some of Klopp's decisions in terms of continuing to play a high line when you keep getting caught out with it. Again, if a manager that hadn't won a Champions League and Premier League was doing that as consistently, there'd be an inquest. There would be he's a PE teacher. He would be he'd be called, I don't know, he'd be called what's a German bit of food? He'd be called a what do they call a sausage over there? What's the word for it? German for sausage.
Bratwurst.
Yeah, he'd be called a Frankfurt Lampard or whatever, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, he'd be getting ridiculed for all of his decision making this year. I'm not even trying to be salty towards Liverpool. I just feel like they get this really big free ride, and what I'm starting to see, and I mean this with Tom Conroy's been really, really honest. I think Liverpool fans are just starting to have enough of it, especially when you're watching TV, and it's almost that Steve McManaman consistently acting surprised that Liverpool are playing badly. Weird.
Oh, you ran earlier was spot on with that, Terry.
Anyway.
Is that
in reality, though, like, we were blinded by the summer transfer window because we got Thiago and we thought he'd fix all our problems.
Yeah.
Well, in reality, the problems were deeper rooted, but we were so blinded by our first Premier League title, we didn't see it. And now it's come back to bite us. And we may well have. I trust these boys. These boys, they've been so reliable for this team. I would back them 110% to win the league next year. But I'm just a little bit scared that with the summer we're going to have, with the owners we've got, and I know for a fact we're not going to spend enough to compete back to that level. I think we may have missed our chance to build on that success that we had last season. And unfortunately, it's a common thing this club does. Whenever we find a little bit of success, we stagnate. We're complacent. We think, we're going to be loyal to these boys. Fergie was never that. Fergie really tightened Salah's best player.
Do you feel like if you guys lose to Real Madrid, it could be a blessing in disguise? In the format that you could get top 4 easily then.
I don't even back us to get top 4 because half our fixtures are against the bottom 6 and we're awful against them this season. We play perfectly into their hands. I think this has got to be a cultural reset for the club this summer.
Do you know what, Tom? I think absolutely one of the best callers I think we've ever had on the channel, mate. I genuinely mean that. In you're calling out the things that are issues, and one of the things I hate doing, I told you so. I said it in the summer that I think you took a gamble and thought we're probably good enough to retain our title without a proper investment and without proper spending. We'll save money, and then next summer we'll go big. We'll probably defend our title.
Yeah.
Maybe a few weeks into the league campaign, you started off well. City looked dodgy. United were awful in the beginning, and it looked like you were just going to walk the league again. It really, really did. And I did say that you would see Liverpool fans absolutely snap back if those decisions in the summer were to let you down. And listen, I know Jurgen Klopp's got a lot of credit in the bank, but if he keeps making these same mistakes and decisions with starting lineups, higher lines, Trent keeps getting exposed and he plays him as just as examples. Fans are fickle. They will turn. They'll turn very, very quickly because that's just the nature of it. And I say that, and every fan base says the same thing. That's not how we behave. We all think that, but we're all the bloody same. We're all the same, right? As a collective group, all fan bases act the same. When we're winning, we're right. We can be right arrogant sons of guns. When we're losing, we can flip and turn on everything that we loved 6 months ago, players included, there's no doubt. Chris here, the Super Chat, says, keep this Liverpool fan on the terrace, Terry. A lot of love for you tonight, Tom, in the comments section, young man. Let's do a few more calls before the end of this show. First up, we're going to have Abs on, who's a Chelsea fan. What are you saying, Abs?
Okay, so first and foremost, all these Liverpool fans going in on their team, we just need to first talk about, how good Real Madrid were. They were on smoke today. They were unreal. They were absolutely unreal. Toni Kroos, I told everyone, Toni Kroos will go down as a legend in football. That pass was, that's better than some things you'd even do in bed with your wife. Some of the things that Toni Kroos did today to flipping Liverpool, and it wasn't just, it was just a really good performance all round. So you can't just say it was a bad performance. All right, Liverpool, you got to give credit to Madrid where it's due. They were really, really, really good today.
I think that's, mate, listen, I think you're absolutely fair in saying that. The reason we focused on Liverpool side of things primarily is because we cover the top 6+1 in the Premier League as an example. But I do hear you, Abs. Great call, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Next up on the show, we've got man like young Aaron. What are you saying, Aaron?
Oh, I might be a Donny Rovers fan, but I never missed those European nights to take away my Bristol Rovers blues. But yeah, the Madrid game, I think that Liverpool were just outclassed. I think it was like I started a career mode on FIFA 7 with Watford and I battered Sheffield United 10-2. Not the exact same scoreline, but I think they got battered today. I think the goals, at least two of the goals, were just one ball over the top, bad defending, and a nice goal. I think the second goal was more easy than the first one. I think the third goal, Alisson should have saved it. Man City,
Mate,
you know,
we've got real problems with your connection, bruv. It's really like bitty and flicky. I'm not too sure if you're on a different system or something tonight, but it's a little bit.
I've put on my data. I'm on my data because my Wi-Fi is dodgy as anything.
And your data, listen, try calling back and say else, mate, because it just isn't a clear line, bro. Yeah, top man. Sorry about that. We have to try and be fair with that sort of thing. We've got young Stephen all the way from the Emerald Isle on the show now. What are you saying, Steve?
Well, guys, I've got a few things to say tonight, as well, because Terry, I thought what you've said about McManaman is absolutely spot on the head, because for me, I'm a upcoming journalist myself, because I'm studying television and journalism myself, and I'm learning my trade in terms of how to be non-biased in terms of keeping it real. What McManaman is doing, he clearly doesn't want to accept that we're in this drought. He clearly has not seen. We've lost at home. How many times? It must be some sort of record or something. And for me, McManaman's just, for me, it's just these pundits overall. They're just being complete biased. They have to be improved on overall. And on the game myself, when I saw baby Keita in that team, for me, I was okay with it going in, because I thought I would have started Thiago, but I thought, okay, I'll trust Klopp here.
Yeah.
What he did was a terrible.
Stephen, let me ask you a question, mate. Do you think Liverpool are going to be able to turn it around? Do you have faith? Do you believe?
No. I would believe. I believe in the Barcelona, because we had. Do you know why? Because we had a crowd.
Why?
We had a 50,000 Anfield roar in there. And do you believe this team will get 3 goals against Real Madrid? No. No, because the Anfield, the spark is gone. The spark is gone.
There we go. Stephen, mate, great call. Thanks for coming back on, mate. Nailed it as ever. Top man. Yes, we've got a City fan here. She's arrived. It's Yan in the house. What's going on?
Yeah,
You're
sorry.
right.
I was just on the stream before. That's why I'm late. Sorry.
That's all right. No problem. You got to do your thing. What did you make of your boys' performance tonight?
I don't think we were that great, to be honest. I thought I did actually predict the 2-1 to City before the game. I thought they'd score. I thought Haaland would score, which didn't happen. But I knew they'd score, and I thought we should win. We're at home. It was kind of end to end. I think City played okay, but I think they could have done better. Dortmund went toe to toe with us. There was a bit of a controversial decision, which thankfully for once didn't go against Man City, kind of went for us. So that's a change. But yeah, I think overall, it's one of them results. I think we're still going to have to turn up and put a hell of a performance in the second leg to get through. It's definitely not over. So yeah, hopefully we can go there and win.
Yeah, what were your thoughts on that controversial Jude Bellingham goal being disallowed?
Do you know what? Like, from the ref's perspective, he obviously thought that Jude kicks Ederson when it was actually the other way around. I think they should have given the goal. I think it's a terrible mistake from Ederson. Obviously, he did get away with it in the end, but I think they should give that. That being said, VAR, I don't think checked it at all. And I think from the ref's perspective, he saw, Ederson was about to kick it. And obviously, as he's about to kick it, Jude comes in. Next minute, Ederson's on the floor. So from the ref's perspective, he's thinking Jude must have kicked Ederson, which isn't what happened when you see the replay. But I don't think VAR even got involved. So
Were VAR allowed to check it because the referee blew his whistle before it went to the net?
Yeah, that's it. Because the referee, because whistle was blown before the ball crosses the line, VAR can't intervene, which in itself is just a stupid rule. You just don't need that rule there, because it just, I suppose, it's just absolute. Because when you go back to Rashford scored his first goal against Leipzig in the group stages, the Lino put the flag up very early, and they allowed the play to continue. The ball went in the back of the net, and then, of course, it was overturned. And that's what the whole point of it is, so that they can rectify these mistakes. But look, you got the decision, and listen, there are many City fans that felt hard done by when you got knocked out by Tottenham a few years ago. So swings and roundabouts, as they say. Did you notice any nerves tonight? Because you didn't seem your clinical best. Do you think that was just an off night, or do you think it's the sort of quarterfinal jitters for City under Pep again?
Well, that was our first quarterfinal, first leg win, apparently. So that says it all. I think it's just City, like you say, it is swings and roundabouts. We've had so much go against us that, like, I was actually getting annoyed tonight because I was doing a watch along and people were like, "Oh, Man City robbing the refs," and it's like, come on now, this is the first decision we've ever got. Like, do you know what I mean? It's mad, but I don't think City were good enough tonight. I think we were okay. We got through the game. But yeah, it should have been 1-1. And then who knows, they might have gone on and won it. Or we might have scored earlier if it was 1-1 earlier. Who knows?
Yeah, that's it. You went and equalised almost straight away after conceding. So it stands to reason that the game may not have ended 2-2.
What's it, Rodri? That when man's headed the ball and gone embarrassed, and then Emre Can still got. But that
do you know what's funny about that? I don't think Rodri was pretending his face got hit. I think Rodri was talking about his knee getting clipped when the foot came up. Rodri did nothing wrong. It was just the referee made. It was the way he was looking at it for ages, thinking if I stand here for like 5 minutes, it makes it look like a close decision. It's like, bruv, we've had VAR too long now. We know what's
trying to
going
like doing it against Fulham, just trying to wait for the perfect angle where he can justify it's a red card.
Yeah, well, that's what this turned into now. I was a big fan of VAR. I'm starting to go off of it because it's being used as we're not here to re-referee games. Yeah, you should be, because you're meant to be here stopping. Dortmund will feel hard done by. If they go out by 1 goal, they're going to feel so hard done by because it was a clear goal. It wasn't just a 50-50 subjective decision. It was the whole protocol was wrong, and it will hurt a hell of a lot more. We've got Karim, Abdul Karim, that we're adding to the show now. What are you saying, bro?
Oh, hey, how are you doing, Terry?
Yeah,
good.
What are you here to say, brother?
Yeah, so I'm just it just shows you that Jurgen Klopp does not really know what to do. Like, he came with a midfield core of like a Naby Keita and Fabinho, which is good, but Wijnaldum, and you try to force and you try to press Toni Kroos and Luka Modric and like, these real midfield dons in the midfield. And I just feel like he didn't really do his homework. And I feel like why does Jurgen Klopp does not know what to do with any of these technical midfielders like a Thiago or even a Naby Keita? Naby Keita was known as a technical midfielder. He was a guy that kind of you can play in like a Barcelona system, but he's turning all these midfielders into he only has one style of play. And I feel like Jurgen Klopp really needs to be evaluated because, I mean, you have a different style of midfield. You don't have like a Musa Sissoko or something, just like some animal and just like an engine. You have a technical midfielder that you don't really know what to do with him. Like
we do have a workhorse, but he's injured in Henderson. But when you have a different style of midfielder, like he struggles with them, and he can only operate with a single type. I get you. We had some success with that Redmen like midfield of Milner, Henderson, Wijnaldum. He seemed to like to build his team around it at times, and then as we've tried to evolve on from that, when it hasn't worked, he's always went back to that. And I think tonight he had to go for one or the other. He had to try and out. You can't have technical Kroos and Modric, but he has to try and match them technically, or you have to try and outwork them. And I think if you start on Wijnaldum, you've got to start Milner. If you start on Keita, you've got to start Thiago alongside him, because we've tried to go for the best of both worlds, and they've played right through us.
Yeah, it just didn't work in relation to that at all. Listen, Abdul, mate, really appreciate you coming on, having your say, mate. Really, really do. Top man, thank you. Listen, everyone who tuned in this evening, a massive thank you to each and every one of you. I know there are more people waiting backstage. I can't get everybody on, I'm afraid, tonight because I am exhausted. Been at it since 7 o'clock. When I say at it, I mean working. In case anyone, that's it, bad joke. Do me a favor and smash that like button. We're back tomorrow morning with more content. 5 p.m. tomorrow. We've got a build-up show ahead of the Europa League football on Thursday. We've got man like Aaron back up the football terrace again, which I'm really looking forward to. We've got Amy from She Devil United, who is making her debut on the channel, and crazy the biggest Ollie outer in the world, man like Johnny, is back on the channel as well. So make sure you're all tuning in at 5 p.m. tomorrow. And yeah, my legs have gone. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for all the nice shows. This show went quick. I know, hour and 24 minutes. It's gone very, very quickly because there's 2 games we spoke about. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you